What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be talking about the treasure map Sugo Fest that we just got the data download for, arriving for treasure map versus Izo, which I know a lot of people in the community was hoping it was going to be, and it is going to be Izo. We don't know the abilities of Izo currently, but I'll talk about that when we have our treasure map preparation video in a few days time, so definitely stay tuned for that. But today we've got a lot of new characters to talk about, the 3 new debuting treasure map rare recruits. At this point in time, we don't know if they're going to be recurring like what they were with the treasure map Eneru, because it did specifically say in that Sugo Fest that those characters were going to be recurring. We don't know yet for these units. These characters might be one and done. They might never return ever, so we'll have to wait and see. But these characters actually look really good. They seem like they're going to be characters that are definitely going to see play outside of treasure map, mainly due to their support effects, which we'll touch up on in just a moment. So the treasure map Sugo Fest Part 1 debuts on February 10th, and then of course the day after, February 11th for Part 2, and then Part 3 on February 12th, with the boosted characters changing each time around. So as for the actual steps for the Sugo Fest, it's pretty typical stuff. You get a guaranteed new unit on the 3rd multi, so I'll likely be doing pulls there, but I personally will be doing pulls on whatever part the new Super 10 and Whitbeard is going to be boosted on. Don't have him yet, obviously, so I'd love to get my hands on that character. But like, again, there's just nothing really that enticing here, to be honest. I mean, unless if the boosted units are really good for your account, but remember, the global anniversary is not that far away. It's going to be coming at the end of February. We don't know exactly what's coming for the global anniversary yet, but we expect it to be a pretty big celebration. I personally think it's going to be Momonosuke, but it literally could be anything at this point, so we'll have to wait and see exactly. But let's actually get to the breakdown of these units. So the first of these units is going to be new Marshall D Teach, which is cool. It's nice we're getting a young Blackbeard character from obviously the flashback, and he is a Psy Slasher Striker with a captain ability that is a 3.5 times attack boost, which is actually pretty decent, at least for a treasure map unit, and he does end of turn damage with his captain ability, which is pretty solid, so there might be some resilience that you may have to deal with in this event. I'm not too sure yet, but the special ability seems pretty cool as well. So it gives -1 cooldown, and he does have the crewmate ability to resist special reverse as well. He cuts the crew's HP by 30%, but then does 80 times his attack and side damage to all enemies. So self-health cutters are actually becoming more and more prevalent, and they do seem to be very useful, so I like the fact that he provides that. He also reduces 5 turns of burn, and reduces Rainbow Shield and Threshold reduction by 5 turns, and then if you've got a Psy or a Dex captain, you get a 2 times color affinity boost to Slasher Striker. Otherwise, it's a 1.75 times affinity boost to those units instead. To be honest, like, at face value, he seems pretty good. Like, it seems like a pretty solid unit. I mean, removing the 2 defensive effects by 5 turns, always really good, but then removing 5 turns of burn, being a self-health cutter, and also dealing with special reverse all at the same time, plus a color affinity special, like, there's really not a lot wrong. Plus Blackbeard has a lot of decent supports already, so just across the board, this is a super good unit to have. And of course, all of these units do have very usable support effects. So here's one attaching to Marco, Whitebeard, and Whitey Bay, all the units that are surrounding the Sugo Fest. And the effect itself, if you do a damage dealing special, cut your crew's health by 50%, and also remove 2 turns of Rainbow Shield. So again, a very good support that is definitely going to see play. It is unfortunate that 6+ Quick Whitebeard is not a damage dealing special. It is such a shame that he isn't, because he could use a lot more really cool supports. But across the board, Whitebeard getting more supports is good, as well as more supports for Marco always. We'll take those. So the second unit we'll talk about is Marco, who is the 2nd highest point booster, and to be honest, Marco does seem to be the weakest of the 3, but it doesn't mean that he's bad. I just don't think he's going to see as much play as the other 2. So Marco being a Dex fighter powerhouse, and then his captain ability also providing 3.5 times attack, and then his special ability, which does 60 times his attack in non-type damage to a single target, then reduces paralysis and increased damage taken by 5. And this is one of the big problems that I personally have with this unit, is that there's already a lot of ways to remove increased damage taken, and this guy does it with a special. So if they replace that with another like key utility effect, this character would be a lot better. But he does still remove 5 turns of defense up, which is pretty good, and then completely removes poison, which is kind of unique. And then if you use his special when you have 50% or more HP, you get a 700 base attack boost to Fighter and Powerhouse, but if you launch it when you're below 50%, you get a 1000 base attack boost instead. But furthermore, if you launch it below 30%, the base attack boost that you get from the special is buffed by 250. So if you launch the special, it's essentially just giving you a 1250 base attack boost, which is actually pretty cool. But if you do have another base attack attack boost that is better. You can still use his special to buff the base attack boost even more. So it's okay, but base attack boosts aren't the end all be all in terms of like buffs that you can use on a crew. So that's why I think that he's like kind of the weakest one, because the effects that he provides aren't always super useful. The paralysis and the defense up is obviously the highlight, but the rest of the special is just kind of okay. He does actually have really interesting potential abilities. He does actually have slotbind removal, which is pretty cool, and he does have hunger, so you always got to, you know, respect that. You know, hunger removal is always a really good effect to have. And then the support attaching to Whitebeard, Blackbeard, and Whitey Bay. So another really good support for Whitebeard specifically, for Blackbeard should we say, because it's a poison removal effect, removing poison completely, and 3000 heal to the unit as well. So overall, I think Marco is probably going to see more play as a support, especially like Whitebeard now having a poison removal support is actually pretty cool. But overall, pretty underwhelming. And then the final unit of the batch, Whitey Bay, which is a really cool unit. It is interesting that Whitey Bay is actually the highest booster. It's interesting nonetheless, but Whitey Bay is a dex slasher powerhouse, and her captain ability once again is providing 3.5 times attack. And then the special ability, which it looks kind of short, but it actually does a lot of really cool stuff. So it's a damage dealing special. It changes all slots including block into matching, reducing 5 turns of attack down and despair, and also locking your slots, so you get the full board and you lock them. You love to see that. But then if you have a slasher or a powerhouse captain, you get a 1.0 chain boost for 1 turn, and then you get a 1.2 chain boost in the following turn with the clock buff. So Whitey Bay is wicked. Like, her special is so good, and I can see her special being used in a lot of content, you know, outside of the treasure map itself. It's just a really good special ability. And then you extend that to her support, which attaches to Whitebeard, Blackbeard, and Marco. So another really good set of supports for these 2 units. If you're inflicted with attack down, remove it by 1 and you get a 0.7 chain boost. Like, what a good effect. And we do know that Whitey Bay did recently release as a support rare recruit character quite a few months back, but that unit is still pretty good, and that also provided a 0.7 chain boost, as well as, what was it, removing 1 turn of bind or something like that. But overall, Whitey Bay getting more units in the game is always a good thing, because she doesn't have a lot of representation, but she actually does have like 3 good units now that are all good supports. Support rare recruit, this one, and the original int rare recruit way back in the day for a slasher unit to remove bind and despair. So Whitey Bay actually getting some good representation in treasure cruise, which you absolutely love to see. And as we mentioned at the start of the video, if we go to the event island, we can see that Izo is indeed the new character in the event, so it's hard to guess exactly what this Izo is going to do or what it's going to be. I hope it is more shooter support. We had Wiper in the previous treasure map, so hopefully we get more shooter support now, because shooters are looking pretty good right now. And if you guys have been staying up with the channel, I did upload a video a few days ago talking about shooters in general. I do think they're probably one of the better classes in the game now. They've got a lot of recent support, and it makes them really strong. And also, before we wrap up this video, I do want to quickly bring your attention to the boosted list, so we can actually see what characters are listed as boosted characters. And one thing that we can get out of this list is it typically gives us a hint as to what the next super evolution is going to be. Now, when we have a look at this list, like, all of the typical legends are boosted. We've got the New Year's legends, other treasure map legends are boosted, and then other recent legends like Super Tan and Big Mom from December. We've got the Kizuna Boa Hancock, 6+ Chopper. Like, recently released characters with their super evolutions are still boosted. But the one offset character that doesn't make a lot of sense is this one right here, which is Dogstorm and Cat Viper dual unit. Now, as many know, dual units have never received a super evolution thus far. Is this going to be the first opportunity for us to get that? Potentially. I'm not holding my breath. I don't think it's going to be a 6+ cat dog, but if it is, I'll be very excited. But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.